Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to billing management system tutorials. And today is our lecture number 8, and today I'm going to demonstrate how can you perform a sales return inside your billing management system. Basically, when someone purchased the goods from you, and let's say if he or she wanted to return some of the goods, and they don't want the some part of that particular goods that he or she has purchased, so your software should have the ability and capability to accept the returns. Okay, so in today's lecture I'm going to tell you how can you create a sales return window. It's very simple, and we'll also do for some addition inside the sales invoice also. So let's have a look what we have today. Alright, so the first thing that you have to add here is the bill number or the sale invoice number. Okay, I'm making it manual because though I already have the ID as a primary key and auto generated, but I am also adding another control, that is a text box. Let me move it further down. Now it's fine. So put up a text box at this point and increase its width and give here a name, bill number. Okay, so that's my bill text. Okay, so let's say you have a bill written on paper and you have to enter that bill inside your this particular sales invoice, so you can add here that bill number. Okay, so let me write the text here, that is bill number, and then the text change event should be raised of this bill number. So copy this and come here and paste and remove this amount text with, replace this with the bill text, paste it and paste it. Okay, now that's fine, the validation is applied. Next thing that you have to do is, let me tell you why I have done this. Because let's say when you are going to return the sales, so you should select that particular bill number on which you are going to return the sales amount. I hope it is clear to everyone. That's why I have added this bill number. And one more thing that I will add inside the database, that is the status of this sales invoice, either the payment is completely done or not. So these two things you have to add inside your sales invoice table. So right click on your sales invoice table and add two columns. First of all, let us open the new query and truncate the sales invoice table. So delete from sales invoice, and then because this is a foreign key reference table, so that's why I'm using this way, dbcc check ident round brackets and then your table name inside single quotes, paste it and then reseed, because we have the identity column inside that, to 0. So sales invoice, further that we have the truncate table customer ledger, and we have the vendor ledger also. So I'm truncating these tables, vendor ledger. Okay, so first of all truncate, commands completed successfully, then sales invoice done all. Okay, so this is the thing that you have done up now. What you have to do, you have to go to your sales invoice table, design it and add two columns. The first column should be SI underscore and you specify the bill number. Okay, bill NO, and it should be N varchar, or you can use varchar. Okay, because it can be any text, 50, and it should not be null. Save it, and one more column you have to add, that is the status of this bill, either the bill is successfully paid off or not. So for future reference I am also adding this status of this bill, SI underscore status, and it should be tiny integer, and then save. And we have to go to the insert sales invoice procedure also. So programmability, stored procedures, and insert sales invoice. Here we have this procedure. First we have to add the bill number and then the status. So bill NO varchar 50, and the next thing is the status. So status is equals to tiny integer, and here you have to add these two columns, So at the rate bill, these two parameters, at the rate bill number and at the rate status. So execute. So commands completed successfully. Now you have to go to the code here, and what you have to do this is you have to add two parameters inside the hash table of the sales invoice. So here is my sales invoice parameters, so copy these two and then paste. The first is the bill number, if I'm not wrong. Let us see. Yes, it's BILLNO, and here you have to specify the bill text dot text. Okay, and now the thing is the status, the spelling check. Yes, the status is correct. Now by default, when you are creating a bill, the status is 0. Okay, when the customer will pay the bill completely, then the status will become 1. Okay, or if the customer has paid some amount, then the status should come in between. Let's say for 0 it is completely unpaid, for 1 it is partially paid, for 2 it is completely paid. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. So save it, and now we have to go to the sales return window. Here in sales returns window, what I need these things: the shop and the customer. Copy and come here and paste. First of all, when the window will load, the shops will be loaded, and based on the shops the customer will be loaded. And when you select the customer, the all bills that are partially paid or unpaid should be loaded inside the combo box that I am going to create now. So the bills, okay, here you write the bill number, sale invoices, or you can write sale invoices, and then you can select the sale invoice from this combo box. So sales invoice drop down. Okay, that's my combo box. Now what you have to do, come to the billing, double click on the load list, copy, and come here, because the thing is the same here, so double click and paste. So what will happen when this window will load sales return, the data will be loaded. Press Ctrl dot so that the module of the crude will be loaded at the top as a reference, and then on focus the customers should be loaded. So I have used the focus event. Where is that focus? Here, focus enter. So when the focus is entered inside the customer drop down, what will happen? Let me show you. Properties, events, focus. Look, this is the code that you have to copy, and in what I have done in this code, I have simply cleared the data source of the customer drop down every time when you focus enter, so that the customer drop down will become blank and the new data will come in. And then I have loaded the customers with respect to the shop. Simple. I have already demonstrated this code in the previous lecture, so I am simply copying here on the sales return focus enter. So what will happen when you enter inside your customer drop down, the customers with respect to that shop will be selected inside the drop down, or listed down inside the drop down list. Now what will happen, what should happen next? When you select the customer and when you enter the sale invoice, okay, the sales invoices should load. So we have to create a function or a stored procedure that can be used to get the sale invoices. So create procedure st underscore get sale invoices with respect to customer as select from sale invoice si inner join customers c on c dot id is equals to si dot customer id. Okay, so and what you can write then, where c dot id is equals to at the rate id, the customer id I will pass on runtime, and I will select the si dot id as id, and one thing that will display to the user, this id I will use for my purposes, for the developer purposes. Okay, it will stay at the back end, but the thing that will display is si dot bill number. Okay, because customer is familiar, or the software operator is familiar with the bill number. What he holds in his hand is the bill number. So whenever he wanted to open every particular sale invoice, he will see or pick up that bill number. Okay, so that's why I will use this bill number as a display part. So bill number. Okay, so these two things I am going to fetch with respect to the ID of the customer that I will pass at runtime, ID and integer, and then execute. Commands completed successfully. And now what you have to do, you have to copy, or first before copy, come at the sales invoice focus event. So focus, enter. Now you have to copy this code and paste it here, but you have to change the code this time, because this time you have to check whether the customer drop down is empty or not. So if it is not empty, then what you can do, you can remove the data source of the sales drop down to null, and then load list. So what should be the procedure? This is my procedure through which I am going to load the data, and where I am going to load the data inside my my sales invoice drop down. And what is the value member? That is the ID, and the display member should be the bill number. I hope it is clear to everyone. And then we have to pass the ID as a parameter. So @ID is the parameter, and what I need to pass here, the customer ID. So customer drop down, simple, that's it. So the value will be used to retrieve the customer ID. Now all things are set. Let's go to the user interface. Now first we select the shop. Based on that shop, the customers will be loaded. When you select the customer, his or her sale invoices will be loaded. Okay, and then when you select the sale invoice, the total amount of that sale invoice should be displayed here. Okay, and then how much amount he has paid should also be displayed. So this is the thing that you have to do. So let us pick up the label and put it here, and pick up a text box and give it a name. Let's say total amount. Okay, total amount, and then you have to copy it and paste it, and you have to make mention here amount paid. Okay, and what else we need? One thing that I have to make it, it's capital P. Now it's fine. Amount paid, and that's my total amount text. So TOT text, and that's my amount paid text, AMT text. And I don't want to validate these text boxes, so I am selecting these and I am making it allow drop true, so that these becomes these text boxes will not be validated by the validation function. I hope it is clear to everyone. And also I don't want to enable and disable these controls, so I am using here one more property, that is, where is that, tab stop. Here tab stop false. Okay, so I am not providing here tab stop. And one more thing that I must mention here is the enabled property, that is automatically false. Now it's fine. Okay, so based on the invoice you have to select the total amount and the amount paid, but we don't have the amount paid at this point. We have to create the table with the name payments, and where we have to record the amount that the customer has paid up till now. Okay, so we have to do that also. So guys, one thing that you have to add more here is, let me pick up a label once more and a text box, and you have to place or give here a name, a length. First give the length. Let me write here length 20 characters, not more than that, and the text box name should be amount to return text. Okay, and this is the amount that you have to enter, and this amount should not be greater than the remaining amount. Yes, one thing, you have to specify the remaining amount. Okay, so you have to do that also. So first write here amount to return Okay, so how much amount I'm going to going to pay back. So that is the case. And one more text box that should be here is the remaining amount text, so that we can be easily verify how much amount should be should be returned. Okay, so remaining text, remaining amount, sorry, remaining amount. Okay, that's fine. And then you have to specify the name of the remaining amount text, so that is the remain text, and then the length should be not more than 20. So what will happen, because these are amounts, so select all these and make their text alignment to right. Okay, that's it. So total amount is disabled by default, amount paid is disabled by default, remaining amount is disabled by default. Okay, now we have to go to the database and verify this query once again. Look, only those bills should appear those status is 0 or those status is 1. Okay, so that I can only get those bills. Completed bills is should not come here. Okay, because the payment is completely paid and all the things are now done, so only those bills, or you can load every bill if you wish to. So right now I am going to giving here another condition, that is si.status is equals to 0 or si.status where is that status, here is that status is equals to 1. Okay, so let me write here a comment. 0 means no payment and 1 means partial payment. I hope you will remember this. And then 2 means the complete payment. So we will update this status when we are going to pay. So because I have created this procedure already, so I am altering it. Commands completed successfully. Now one more thing that you can do, you can put these inside parentheses so that the preferences should remains with this, and then execute. Okay, now all things are set. So let us start and enter some data. Login, and then the sales first of all we have to do the sales invoice. We have to perform a billing. So let's say my bill number is BL12345. okay, and my shop is this, and my customer is this, and my order is, let's say, clothes and shoes, and the date is this, and the amount is, let's say, 1000, and then the sale type is cash, and then click save. So the data is added. Okay, you can remove these zeros, these precisions by formatting this grid column. Now what's next? Because the data is there, you have one entry. Let me add another entry for Bilal. So bill number is BL. Okay, you have to mention the bill number here inside the grid also. You can do that also, like we have done for others. BL 54321, and then the shop is ABC Garment, and the customer is this, and the order details are, let's say, jeans and leather jackets, and the date amount is, let's say, Monday, and the amount is 2000. Okay, and then okay, one more thing that I have to do here, that is this problem. Okay, I have to resolve this problem. Add BL 54321, and then edit, and then jeans and leather jackets, and the date is 6, amount is 2000, cash, and then save. So now I have two particular orders of the Bilal customer. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to go to the sales return, and here when you click the add button, look, it is disabled, it is disabled, it is disabled, but it is enabled. I hope it is clear to everyone. So ABC Garments, based on that I have the customer, and based on that I have the sale invoices of that customer, those sale invoices that are incomplete. So now when I click this, the total amount of that bill should be loaded here, the amount paid should be there, and the remaining amount should be there. So for amount paid and for all that, we have to create a new table, that is the payments. So create table payments, and then you have to specify p underscore id, that is big integer, not null, identity, and then primary key. Okay, and then p underscore sale invoice id, that is also big integer if I am not wrong. Let us verify that. That is my sale invoice, and if you notice here that the id, the primary key is big integer, so I am writing here big integer, and then because it is a foreign key, the relationship should be there, foreign key, because one sale invoice can have many payments. Let's say the customer is giving partial payments. If the amount is 50,000, he is giving sometime 5,000, sometime he is giving 10,000, so partial payments. So there are multiple payments with respect to one sale invoice. Okay, so the relationship is one to many in between both of these tables. So that's why I'm creating a foreign key, then references, and then you have to mention the table name, that is the sale invoice. So sale invoice, and then the column name, that is si underscore id, and then on delete no action. Okay, so it restricts you when you are going to delete a sale invoice. It will stop you if you have the payment of that sale invoice. Okay, so that's the security reason. And on update no action, that's it. And then we have the amount, that is in money data type, not null. On this sale invoice id, I'm going to pay this amount. And what else you need? You need the, okay, one more thing that I must mention here, because this is the unique id in the sales invoice. Okay, so this, at this unique id, you have this customer unique also. On this one id, you don't have the multiple customers. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so if I do not enter the customer id here, that will be fine. If you wish to enter, you can create the relationship also, but for a better perspective, I must tell you that on this id, this is the unique id, and this is not repeating. So at one sales invoice id, you have only one customer. Okay, so based on that sale invoice id, you can pick up the customer later. I hope it is clear to everyone. So on this sales invoice id, the amount is this, and the amount that you will be receiving, and the date on which you are receiving the amount, that is this, not null, and user id, who has received the amount, the software operator, which operator has received that amount for security purposes, so that later we can track who received that amount. Simple. So that is integer, and there should be the reference, copy and then paste, and then here you write the users table, and here you can write the u underscore id if I am not wrong. Let us open the column. Okay, so u underscore id, that's fine. On delete no action, on update no action. Okay, what else we should add here? That's all. We have to create this payments table. Later on we'll see what else we need to add. One more table that I must add here is the create table sales return, and here you have to add sr underscore id, that is also big integer, not null, identity, and primary key, and then sr underscore. So on which sale id the sale is going to return. Okay, you are selecting the bill number on that sales return window. So again you have the sales invoice id as a foreign key here, so I am copying this and paste it. So against this sale invoice id, whatever the id that I will insert, the data will be the return data should be inserted. Okay, so the return id, then the sales invoice id, because look, one sale invoice id can have multiple returns. Or let's say your company has a policy that if anybody wants to return, then he or she will return only one time. Okay, so the relationship can be one to one, the relationship can be one to many. I hope it is clear to everyone. So you cannot restrict, or you can restrict, or you cannot restrict, no problem. So SR underscore sales invoice ID, and what amount you are going to return. So amount, and then money, and not null, and SR underscore date, on which date you have returned, not null, and who took this return process with you. Alright, so integer, and then the same case that you have done here is copy, because you are creating an accounting software, so you have to maintain every information that who did what. Okay, so which user performed which operation, that's why I am adding user ID again and again. So on this sale ID, what is the amount that is returned, what is that date, and that is this. I hope it is clear to everyone. So that's my sales return. Execute. Commands completed successfully. Now let us create the insert procedure. Create procedure st underscore insert sale return, and then come inside. As first of all, create sale invoice variable, and that is big integer. You have to pick up at runtime, and then the amount. So amount, that is in money data type, and then you have the date is the data type, and then user ID and integer is the data type, and here you have to insert the sales return. Okay, what you can do, you can write here insert into sales return values, and then you can select the sale ID, and then at the rate amount, and then at the rate date, and then at the rate user ID. Okay, so that's my insert sales return, and then I'm not going to create an update procedure, or neither I'm going to create a delete procedure, because right now insert is enough. And then we have to create the insert payments. So create procedure st underscore insert payments at the rate. What is the first thing that you have to do? The same, the columns are the same, okay, for sales return and for payment. So let me copy this and paste it here. Okay, and then as insert into payments, I haven't executed, I think, this payments table. No, it's I have executed it. So the table name is payments values, and then at the rate sale. Okay, why it is not showing me the IntelliSense? Okay, because of the things that I have written above. So copy, paste, comma, copy and paste, comma, and here copy and paste, and the last thing is this, copy and then paste. If you verify the columns, let me show you the refresh tables, the payments table columns. So you have the sales invoice ID, the amount, the date, and the user ID. Okay, so insert payments procedure is also done. Now what you have to do, you have to create another procedure. Create procedure, or what you can do, you can select, you can create a dynamic procedure that can be used to get the total amount, the amount paid, and the remaining amount from the tables. So how can you do that? Let us go to the SQL and create a new query. So select all from sales invoice SI, and here you can pick up SI dot amount as amount. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so what will be picked up? The amount, the total amount, where sale SI dot customer ID is equals to, let me select that customer. What is the name, what is the ID of my customer? Let me verify. Edit. Okay, so I have a customer with the ID 2, that is Bilal, and I have if I click here, if I write here 2, then look what will happen. So the two sale amounts are the two sale invoices are appearing here. Okay, so which particular amount you are going to pick up, that is si.id, because at runtime when you go to the software, what are you going, this is my sales return window, you have selected your sale invoice. So based on this sale invoice you have the sale ID. Okay, so the sale ID you have to pass here also. So let me pass here the sale ID so that I can be able to get only the unique amount. So sales invoice, right click here and then see the ID of that particular record. So edit top 200 rows, and look, the first, let's say I wanted to use this first, so the ID is 1. So if I write here 1, then only one total amount is picked up based on that sales invoice ID. And now what else I need to check, I need to pick up the total amount paid. Okay, sorry, that's my total sale invoice, and now how much amount that the customer is paid up till now, that's my total amount and amount paid. So amount paid is coming from that particular table, that is, let me write here inner join, okay, left join, because I don't have any purchases, so any payments. So left join, I wanted to load all the data from the left hand side and the matching records from the right hand side. So purchase, one thing that I must do here is copy this and let me restart the SQL so that the IntelliSense may work. Right, so I have successfully restarted my SQL server, and now if I write here the purchase in inner join purchase, okay, on what particular columns that we have to make the purchase. So si dot column name should be, so what's the relationship between, sorry, that's not purchase, that is the name of the table is payments. Yes, so payments, inner join payments P, on which column is the common column in between. So one sale invoice can have many payments, so can you write here si dot sale invoice ID is equals to P dot sale invoice. Okay, so left join. Now what you can pick up, the sum of what, P dot, okay, comma is there, now P dot amount. So sum of amount you have to pick up, so you can write here amount paid. Okay, so amount paid, and then in the end you have to write here group by clause, because you have used the aggregate function. So group by with respect to the amount, that is the extra column, and then amount paid. Let us see what is the result. Look, I hope it is clear to everyone. So I don't have any amount paid right now, so you can use this as, if it is null, then what you can do, provide your expression, and if it is null then show 0. So execute. Is that clear? So amount paid. Now what else we need? Amount, total amount, amount paid, and the remaining amount. So simple, the simple formula for remaining amount is to subtract. So let us go here and subtract. So what you can do, si dot amount minus, copy this and paste it here, okay, and put it inside round brackets so that it becomes a number, it can be completely considered as number, and then you can write here remaining amount. So total amount minus the amount paid should give you the remaining amount. Let us see. Look, I hope it is clear to everyone. Now all the three things you have received, and now amount to return, now you have to enter here. Let's create this stored procedure in a final way. So create procedure st underscore get sale invoice amounts, as you have to pass the customer ID, that is integer, and you have to pass the sale invoice ID, that is big integer, the two things. So the customer ID here is customer ID, and here you have to pass the sale invoice ID. So this is my sale invoice ID. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now execute. Commands completed successfully. Now to load these amounts, where we have to go, we have to go at the code, stop this software and create a function. So let me go to the crude operations, and here you have to load the data. So guys, here I am creating a function public. Why I am creating a function inside the module? Because I need to use this particular remaining text and the total text and the amounts later on inside the inside the payment window also. So that's why I am creating here it as a function. So public static, and you need to return a double array because you are retrieving the payments. So double array, and the function name is sale invoice amounts. Okay, and then come here inside, and that's it. And what you need here, you need to pass the procedure, string procedure, and hash table ht. I will pass the parameters inside the hash table. Okay, now SQL command cmd equals to new SQL command, and then come inside, you write here your procedure, and then main class comma connection, and then cmd dot command type is equals to command type dot stored procedure, and then for each loop, for each dictionary entry, this one item in hash table, and then here you need, sorry, not hash table, that will become the ht, that's my hash table. Now cmd dot parameters dot add with value, and here you have to pass your ht dot key, sorry, ht dot what you can write here, key, no, wait, we have to pick up the dictionary entry. Yes, so here you have to pass item dot key dot toString, because the parameter should be in toString, and then the value should be in any data type. So what you can write here, item dot value, simple, and it is returning an object, item dot value. So look, it will return an object can be of any data type, simple. So that's it. All the parameters will be passed, and then main class dot connection dot open, and then main class dot connection dot close, and then you have to put it's inside the try catch block, and then you have to cut this, you have to come inside and remove this. Now what you can do, close the connection inside the catch so that the software remains working. And now what you have to do, you have to create an array that is of double data type. So double array arr is equals to new double, okay, sorry for that, is equals to new double, and the length should be 3 because I am only loading 3 values. I know I am loading 3 values. And then you have to write here SQL data reader dr is equals to cmd dot execute reader, and then you have to write here if dr dot has rows, and then while dr dot read, and run this loop until and unless the rows are coming. So while dr dot read, that's the method, and then come inside and write here arr of 0. At 0 index of this array you have to store what, convert dot to double, and dr of dot to string. So go to the query and see what you have inside that. So the total amount is the first column, so copy it and put it here, okay, and then same is the case paste it and paste it. At first index, at second index and third index, you have to specify the other column names that are amount paid, and come here and paste, and then you need the remaining amount, so copy and paste it here. So based on these three values, I will return this array, return ARR. I hope it is clear to everyone. So when this function will be loaded, the data will be picked up and stored inside a double array. Okay, now what you have to do, you have to come here, and when you select the sale invoice, the data should be loaded. So what you can do, you can double click here, and if sale invoice drop down dot selected index is not equal to -1, then come inside. Okay, and what you can do, you can first of all you can rebuild the CRUD module. So right click, rebuild. Okay, so rebuild is succeeded. Now come here inside the sales return, and what you can write here, CRUD dot what is the name of the method, that is sale invoice amounts. So come here and dot sale invoice amounts, and then what it is asking you to provide the procedure. So what is the name of my procedure? That's my procedure name. And then come here and paste, and then you have to pass your hash table. So you don't have the hash table right now, so hash table, look, hash table is not coming, no problem, press control dot using system dot collections ht equals to new hash table, and then ht dot add, and pass your parameters here, double quotes, comma. First parameter is the cust id, copy it and paste it, and then the second parameter is sale invoice id, so copy first this one and paste it and remove this, and now copy this one. Okay, and now convert dot to integer 32, because that's my customer id, so customer drop down dot selected value dot to string, and then sale invoice id, so convert dot to integer 64, because the sale id is in big integer, so sale drop down, so sale invoice drop down dot value selected value dot to string. Okay, so from these combo boxes I have passed these values, and now here I have to pass the hash table. Simple, that's it. So let us see what is the result, because the result is coming inside the double array. So you can write here double ARR equals to, and now what are the name of my text boxes? That's my TOT text, amount paid and remaining amount. So you can write here TOT text dot text is equals to ARR of 0 dot to string, and you can specify the format also, okay, based on the currency. And then after that you have the amount paid. What's the next text box? It's basically the amount paid. So here you have to write the amount paid, amount to AMT paid. Okay, let us verify the name. That is the AMT text. Yes, so AMT text dot text is equals to same code but with different index. Okay, now one more thing, the amount to return, right? So amount to return text, and that should become the 2. Okay, re-verify it here, amount and amount to return in the last. No, yes, amount to remaining amount. No, I have to put the name remaining amount. Yes, remaining text. Okay, so that's my mistake. So let us see what's the result. Login, sales return, enable the shop, the customer, the sale invoice. Look, the sale invoice. Okay, so based on the sale invoice I am retrieving that particular data, and now how much amount I should have to return. So if I write here the amount greater than 2000, then it should not be accepted. The amount should be less than 2000. The amount that I have to based on the remaining amount I have to refund. Simple. I hope it is clear to everyone. So right now we have to do the further code for insertion and for the validation and all that I have mentioned. So let us go to the sample 2 and copy these functions, though they are not required, only the save button is required, but I'm copying still for future purposes. And go to the sales return window and then paste it here, and then what you have to do, replace it with override in the current document. That's it. So the functions are now override. Now inside save button, what you have to do, you have to go to the sales invoice window first. Where is that sales invoice? Sample 2, and then users window. Yes, the billing window. I haven't changed the name to sales invoice, so that's my window. And then go to the view code and go to the save button. So guys, this is the save button of this sales invoice. I'm copying the same code from here. Copy this code. That's my save button code inside the sales window. Copy, and then you have to come here and paste it inside the billing window, the sales return window.cs here, and paste it. Why I have done this, let me show you. The first thing, let us first remove the errors. So press Ctrl dot. This code is specified for the validations. Then you don't have any cash or check here, so I am removing this. That code was for checking the what is the type, cash or check. And look, and if I don't have the type, then this if is not necessary then. So here you have to close a bracket, remove the bracket, and here you have to remove the bracket. Now transaction scope, press Ctrl dot and using system.transaction so that the transaction will begin. And then you are inserting inside the sales invoice table. Here you have to insert inside the sales return table. So remove it and go to the programmability stored procedures and select the sales return insert procedure from the list. So where is that? Insert sales return, here is it. So copy and come here and paste. And then what are the columns? Let us verify. Sales return parameters, the sales invoice ID first. Let me open it. Yes, copy and then come here and paste. And then the amount, copy, and then here you have to remove this and paste. Copy, and then here you have to remove this and paste, and user ID is there already. So status, bill number you don't need, and then the login, Ctrl dot using authentication module, that's the error, removed. And then amount should not be there, so re-verify. Now sales invoice ID, then amount, then date, then user ID. Okay, these are my 4 columns. Now respective data types here. So where is my sales invoice ID? Here inside my sales invoice drop down, and the amount is in convert dot to double, and the amount is in the amount to pay. So where is that amount? Let me show you. Inside this amount to return. Okay, so you have to pass it at this point, amount to return text dot text. You can apply the regular expression also and round brackets. Now the date, so the date is of, do we have the date? No, we haven't specified the date here, so you can specify the date also. You can pick up the current date, so it's better to put the date here. So let me pick up a label and the date time picker so that you can modify on runtime. Okay, and go to its properties and format is custom, and the custom format should be dd-mmm-yyyy. Okay, and one more thing that you have to specify is the label, and come here and specify the date. Okay, so arrange it appropriately. Now it's fine. And then come here in the code, where's that window, sales return, and what you can write here, date time picker 1 dot value. Simple, the date will be picked up, and then the login dot user id. Login is my module, external module, authentication module, and I have created the property inside the login id, and then the data will be inserted. After the data is inserted inside the sales return, because the customer is returning you the amount, the goods, the customer is returning you the goods, this time the amount is debited into your account, the amount is debited into your account, and it is credited from the customer's account. So what you have to do, you have to carefully look at this code. First thing, get the last balances. So I am picking up the last balances of the customer and the last balance of the shop, and I am storing inside this. And here you are getting the last sales ID. So I don't need to write the last sales ID here, because I have the sales ID inside my combo box. So instead of writing this here, you can write here, let sales invoice drop down dot selected value, simple, dot selected value dot toString. So this is how you can pick up the sale invoice ID inside this variable, and then this is the customer balance at this point, and then the amount, because the customer is returning you, so at customer point the debit is 0, okay, and at this point the credit should be the amount to return. So convert dot to double and specify the amount, that is amount to return text dot text. Okay, so whatever amount you will enter, it will be credited inside the customer ledger table, and debit is 0, and the balance is the last balance of that customer plus debit minus credit. So the overall ledger will be maintaining. Now what else you have to do here is the description. Here the description is should be handwritten. Let me write, because you are selecting the customer, so you can write here, the customer drop down dot selected item dot toString has returned the goods worth rupees, amount to return text dot text on bill number, that is sales invoice drop down dot selected item dot toString. So this is the description that I am writing. So the what will be written on the in the description, the customer, let's say the Bilal has returned, sorry, the customer Bilal, no, we don't need to write the here at this point. Customer Bilal has returned the goods worth rupees this amount on bill number this to shop, to the shop drop down dot selected item dot toString, and write here shop. I hope it is clear to everyone. So this is the description that will be entered inside the description table inside the ledger. So the debit amount is 0, the credit is this, the balance is this, and the date is the same, and the sale invoice ID you have picked up from there, and then the insert customer ledger. Okay, and now the reverse process. Now you have the shop balance. So the amount you are receiving, you are taking it back, so you are entering again it inside your inventory. So your amount is now debited, so cut it, no credit at this time. Instead we have the debit and amount to return text, and then the same thing, hash table, the shop ID should be from the shop drop down, the description. So the description is something different. Right here, let me write here, shop drop down dot selected item dot toString. Okay, let me, because I think because that's a data bound control, maybe it will create a problem. The customer will not be selected. So what I can do, I can write here data raw view drv is equals to what is the name of the customer drop down? Yes, customer drop down dot selected item as data raw view. Okay, and then you have to specify here as drv of 1. So the name will be picked up. I hope it will work. I will see you the difference. And now the same is the case for sales invoice and the shop drop down. So drv customer, and then copy, and then paste, and then paste. So drv shop, and here you should write drv what? For shop you have to write your shop drop down. Okay, and then what is the name of the third one? That is the sale invoice drop down. So sale, or you can write sidrv, and you can specify the sale invoice drop down. Okay, and then drv customer at this point, and then you have to write here drv sidrv of 1. So we'll see the result when we run this dot toString. And then we have the last thing is the shop drv. So drv shop of 1, because at 0 you have the ID of the shop. So now that's fine. So use these things at this point also, where I was in the description, right, inside the ledger. Where is the description? Here is the description. So instead of this you can write here shop drv shop of 1. That means the shop name basically, dot toString concatenation, and now the shop has received rupees what? How much amount? Amount to return text dot text from whom? From the customer. Okay, so you can write the customer. So drv customer of 1 dot toString of rupees this, and from customer this. That's it. And then you have to specify the double quotes and dot, full stop. So again write the message. Let's say shop 1 has received 10,000 rupees from the customer this. Okay, one more thing, on bill number, and you have to specify here the sale drv sidrv of 1 dot toString. Okay, so receive the amount as refund, as the return, sorry, as return save. So that's my description for the shop. And then the debit is, because you are taking the amount, there is double semicolons, and then the credit is 0, and then the balance, the last balance is picked up already, and then the sale invoice ID, you have already taken the sale invoice ID here at the top. If you notice here, the sale invoice ID. Okay, and then the message will be displayed, sales invoice or sales return added successfully into the system. And then inside of load this sale invoice, we will create another method so that we will display the sale invoice details. Okay, so I have removed this. Now what else we should do here? Alright, so let us run this and check what's the output of this whole effort. So login, and sales return, and then click add. And then the shop, let's say that Bilal came and he said that I wanted to return some amount. Okay, yes, one thing that is left, that is the validation of the amount. Let's say you cannot be able to write 2000 here because you have only 1000, so you have to validate this also. So I'll do that, but let us first check. I wanted to return the 500 rupees, sorry, because I have the total amount this, I haven't paid anything, and I wanted to return 500 rupees. I hope it is clear to everyone. So what will be the result? Let us see. Click save. Reset sales return added successfully. Now let us go to the software and let us go to the sales invoice table, sales return table. Right click on it and select edit top 200 rows. So the data is there. You have returned. Okay, now let us see the customer ledger. Edit top 200 rows, and if you notice here, Bilal has returned the goods worth rupees 500 on bill number this to ABC Shop Garments. Okay, and if you see with respect to the customer ID, 500 is removed, or let's say the total was 3000 based on Bilal. Okay, so the overall balance on Bilal was 3000, and when the Bilal has returned 5000, the remaining amount is 2500. Overall bill, overall ledger. This is the overall ledger of Bilal, because right now I have only one customer. Okay, so when first time the Bilal came, Bilal purchased 1000 rupees goods, then Bilal purchased 2000 rupees goods. So the total balance of the Bilal that Bilal has to pay is 3000, and today Bilal came and he has returned the 500 rupees. So the remaining balance is 2500. Okay, now let's go to the vendor ledger and verify the other part, the reverse process. So right click on the vendor ledger. Basically it's a shop ledger. So based on that shop, what's that amount? Look here, it should have the reverse amount. When the Bilal came and he purchased 1000 rupees goods, so the shop is credited 1000. Then the Bilal again purchased 2000, then the shop has to receive 3000, so that look, it is coming in negative. And now when the shop has received 5000, now the shop has to has the 2500 remaining. Simple. I hope it is clear to everyone. So at both ends, at the customer point of view, at the shop point of view, the ledger is maintaining. We'll create it on Crystal reports, no problem, later on, but I hope you have understood what I have done here. And later on now, what we have to do, we have to display the details here, that what are the sales returns inside this right hand side on this particular grid, and also we have to apply the validation. But that's all for today. Hope you have understood how can you perform a sales return inside your billing management system. If you do not understand anything, please do write me. Thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.